Hello, everyone. Now we are going to go through the best party ever, and I think you can guess by the picture what party are we are going to learn and talk about today is of course the carnival. As you can see by the pictures of all the entertainment that there is. Okay, so carnival. What is a carnival? A carnival is an entertainment usually offering rides, sideshows, games, exhibits, and refreshment and souvenir stands. Many of traditional attraction of the carnival are now offered as permanent amusement and theme parks. So there are some carnivals that were so good and so big, and were there wasn't any reason on removing them that now are an amusement or a theme park. Okay, so obviously as a carnival, what do we get to do there is obviously to enjoy our time, meaning to have fun, play games, go with your friends, go through the rides, and so on and so on. You can buy some souvenirs on where on the souvenir stands, and of course the main reason is just to enjoy. All right. So now please get your family and friends book number 5, class book. All right. So please open page number 28. And obviously, we are going to learn about the, uh, well, not learn, but we are going to go through the story of reading comprehension. And we're going to read the story that is related with the carnival. Okay, so as for the first task, it says look at the story and the pictures. What do you think happened in the story? So we're going to read the story. We are going to look at the pictures and see what is going on. Listen and read. So I'm going to read it for you. After that, uh, try to read it out yourself as well. Make sure to listen if or read it again, or listen to me again, or use the CD, so that if you don't understand the story, you can listen and read yourself, or listen to grasp the story plot, okay? To understand what's going on in here. Now let's read the title, which is Lost at the Carnival. Obviously means you got lost. Why? And is because the carnival there are just so many people, and it is quite easy uh, to to get lost in the carnival, especially for the young children and kids. So, in any case, let's start the story. It was the sunniest day of the year. Harry and Emily were very excited because they were at the carnival with their mom and dad. Harry had a superhero costume with long red cape. Emily was dressed up as a pop star with a sparkly dress and sunglasses. Now, what have we learned so far? We learned that there are two kids who are Harry and Emily. They are very excited because they are going through the carnival with their parents, mom and dad. And Harry has a superhero costume while his sister Emily has a pop star dress, and she wears the dress is sparkly, and she has the sunglasses, so she looks like a pop star, right? So obviously in the carnival you can wear any kind of costume you wish, or that is related to the theme of the carnival. Now let's read it. Let's continue reading. Harry and Emily loved the parade. They were at the floats, floats, and they looked at all the wonderful costumes and masks. They danced to music from the band. Just then, a crowd of dancers and people on stilts came down the street. The dancers moved between Harry and his family. Harry tried to push through the crowd, but the dancers moved too fast. Harry couldn't get away, so he moved down the street with the dancers. Suddenly, Harry thought he saw a stage. He climbed onto it and looked around for his parents. But then Harry started to move. He wasn't on a stage, he was on a float with a lot of dancers on it. Harry picked up a microphone. Okay, so what happened here is Harry got cut from the dancers and other people, and they were obviously very fast, so our poor Harry got lost. Okay, so he couldn't reach his parents and Emily. Now, what happened next that is he saw a stage. He climbed onto it and looked around for his parents. So obviously he couldn't find it. And then suddenly it started to move because it wasn't a stage, it was a float. Okay. Now, what he did next is that he picked up the microphone. Okay, let's see what he said. Hello, he said, and his voice came through all the speakers in the street. I'm Harry. Mom, Dad, Emily, can you hear me? Now he was trying to find his parents and Emily, and there were speakers. The microphone was connected to the speakers. So that's why. Let's continue. Harry saw his mom and dad running through the crowd. Where have you been? They said. And where's Emily? I don't know, said Harry. I thought Emily was with you. So, apparently, Emily got lost as well. As you can see in the second picture, it looks like she is with her parents, but it seems she might have got lost herself as well. Now, Harry has. Okay, so at least they found Harry. The next thing they would need to do is try to find Emily. Now, let's go through the task is read again and write the words. Now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words that we need to uh, write down in the correct sentence. Okay, so just in case if you forgot or don't not really sure, you can always read and listen to the story again. So let's go with the first one. Harry's costume had a long red cape. Now cape, as you can see here, he does has a long red cape. There you go. So that is correct. And in the story as well, let's see. Where does it says? Harry had a superhero costume. There you go. Harry had a superhero costume with a long red cape. Okay, so this one is the correct word. Now let's go for the second one. I'll do it with you. The rest you'll have to do it yourself. Emily had a sparkly. What did she had? A sparkly costumes? Don't think so. Stage? Not really. Dress? Possibly. Float? Not sure that it is the correct one. And crowd? Obviously not. So let's see in the sentence. Emily, let me use just a moment. Let me use different color. Uh, Emily was dressed up as a pop star with a sparkly dress. Okay, so dress is the correct one. Okay, so we have to write dress right here. Okay, good. So we'll cross that out as well. So cape and dress are finished. The rest you have to do it yourself. So check the story and the answers are in the story. Okay, so the third one is Harry and Emily look at the wonderful. What was it? Write it down. Number four, Harry couldn't push through the. Okay, and number five, Harry thought he saw a. Mhm. And then the last one is Harry was on a. All right. So just to the answers obviously are in the story. You can always find them there. All right. So let's go to the next page, page number 28. So what do we have here is the first task is, what does it say? It says find the words in the story to match the pictures. Okay, so look at the first picture. That is called parade. Okay, when you have a line of people, when you have the crowd on left and side, and in the middle, people are going in the costumes and dancing in the music. Okay, so the second one, it looks something that when Harry was speaking through the speaker, that's where the sound was coming from. Okay, so look in the story and write down the word. Okay, that's something you put on your face, right? That is a moving car, and behind it is something that the people, the dancers, and the people in the costumes are standing and having fun. Then what is this? I just already mentioned it for number two. Number six, a group of people, a very big group of people. How do you call it? There you go. They're dancing, moving, apparently in the costumes. And then he's walking on the sticks and then shaking a bit as well. What is that? What that is? Checking the story. Now let's go for the second. Let's go through the second task. It says read this story on page 28 again. What do you think happened to Emily? Okay, so what do you think to happen with Emily? Right? That's we decided don't know yet. We don't know yet. Okay, so task number three, listen to what happened next. Were you right? Okay, so uh make write down what do you think happened to Emily? Did they eventually find her? How did they find her? And was it hard or did was it easy for them to find her? Okay, so get your notebook and write down your thought on what might have happened to Emily. Okay, so just few sentences as for where she could have been. How did they find her? How did the parents, mom, dad, and Harry found Emily? And was it very hard, or was it uh, or wasn't it not very hard? Okay, so let's go for number. Okay, and then on the third one, it says that you can listen and see if you were right using the CD. Excuse me. Number four task, listen again and match. Now, number one, the dancers. The C is the correct one. Okay, so C is crossed out. We're in front of Emily. Right? Now, the people on stilts now were a lot taller than Emily, laughed when they saw Emily, called Emily through the speakers, shouted Harry's name. Okay, so um, what do you need to do is, of course, um, listen to the CD version and see which one is the correct answer. Okay, so next one, Harry. Um, laughed were a lot of taller than Emily. Laughed when they saw Emily. Called Emily through the speakers. Shouted Harry's name. Emily shouted Harry's name. Called Emily through the speaker. Laughed when they saw Emily. Were a lot taller than Emily. Emily parents were a lot taller than Emily. Laughed when they saw Emily. Called Emily through the speakers. Shouted Harry's name. Okay, so make sure you write down all of them correctly and then we can somehow check it later. Ask the task number 5, ask and answer. Use the prompts on your own answers. Now, we have questions and obviously we need to answer them. Have you ever worn a costume? Yes, I have. Or no, I haven't. Right? You write down your answer here. Or obviously, well, have you ever had a costume on yourself or not? Then the second question is what did you dress up as? I dressed up as a superhero, a spaceman, a pop star, or a monster. What did you wear? I wore a hat, trousers, a dress, boots, a shirt. Where did you go? I went to a party, a carnival, or a festival. In all those three things, you can wear costumes. In an event, a party, carnival, and a festival are events. And obviously, if you want somewhere else, you can write down that answer. It doesn't have to be exactly the same from those prompts. You can write down your own. I went to a show instead of party, carnival, or festival. Okay, and so on. Okay, so that'll be it, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.